Ladies and gentlemen, as we continue to talk about our businesses, it is important to keep in mind the impact of our business to the environment. Well, this afternoon, we have to be reminded that we should all be responsible business owners. And this afternoon, we have here with us to share about sustainable wastewater management. We have a guest from Anthroserv Incorporated. Allow me to share with you, introduce to you our speaker. Our speaker is an associate ASEAN engineer with years of experience in process engineering, including plant design, plant troubleshooting, data analysis, process design, and improvement of wastewater treatment plants. He graduated BS Chemical Engineering in the University of the Philippines cum laude. His research on wastewater treatment, especially on power reduction and efficient process control, was awarded by the International Water Association, or IWA. Currently, he is the president of the Philippine Institute of Chemical Engineers, Kamanava chapter, and the chairman of PICHE National's Young Engineers Section, and the Vice Chairman of the Philippine Technological Council of the Philippines Young Engineers Section. He is now here to share to us sustainable wastewater management. Allow me to introduce to you the Chief Executive Officer of Anthroserv Inc. Please welcome Engineer Joshua Bon Rocco.
Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you are having a great time here at the Expo, and I hope you still have energy for this session. I am Engineer Joshua Bon Rocco. I am the Chief Executive Officer of Anthroserv Inc., and I'd like to thank first, of course, PHILSME for allowing us to have a presentation, and of course, to present to you all about sustainable wastewater management. There you go. So to start, we look at the status of the world in terms of the lens of the Sustainable Development Goals. So we know that there's a Sustainable Development Goal 6 that is focused on ensuring availability and sustainability of water and sanitation for everyone. Unfortunately, this is the status of the world in terms of um, drinking water access, sanitation access, and basic hygiene. No? So, yung numbers yan. No? And up to 2020, until 2020, still, there are 129 countries that are not on track to have sustainably managed our water resources by 2030. No? So the UN SDG tells us that our current rate of progress on water and wastewater management needs to be doubled. Now, alam naman natin that currently, of course, we are having another imminent water crisis. No, we have very low water resource capacity right now. No, and in terms of wastewater, hindi natin masyado siya na-appreciate because it really doesn't. We think that it really doesn't affect us, but later, I'll show you how is it directly and indirectly affecting our lives and our businesses. No? So let me start. Let me start by, of course, defining what is wastewater. Okay, wastewater, in simple terms, is used water. Okay, so if it does not already serve its original intent, it is already considered as wastewater. And we classify wastewater into three. So we have residential, commercial, and industrial. So why do we have to classify our wastewater based on these three? One, of course, because they have different qualities. No? Iba yung wastewater na pinuproduce ng residences, and iba rin yung sa per type of commercial and industrial establishments. But the second one, and the most important one, is we have to classify them because the state does not require residences to have their wastewater treated. No, you have the in the context of Metro Manila, we have the water concessionaires. We have Manila and Manila Water, who is responsible, no? Who is responsible for treating the wastewater of the residences. However, yung mga commercial and industrial, hindi sila covered noon, no? So they have the obligation to have their wastewater treated by any means, no? It may be through third-party treatment, or it could be an on-site wastewater treatment. This is very important in the context of this expo, because if you're a business owner and you own and you have your own facility, no, and of course it is tagged as either commercial or industrial, you have to know that you have to treat your wastewater. Ano ba yung basis ng wastewater treatment? Of course, we have first the legal framework, no? Or the legal rationale, you know. This is parented ng RA 9275, which is the Philippine Clean Water Act. And its implementing regulations is defined on the DAO 2016-08 and the recently passed revision, which is the DAO 2021-19. We also have the PD 856, or the Code of Sanitation of the Philippines. So ito yung mga legal frameworks that we have now in the Philippines. But the most important is the social impacts. No? Una, yung health risk. No? It has been studied, of course, yung lack of wastewater management increases the risk of diarrhea, hepatitis A, and leptospirosis. And then obviously, we have the environmental impacts, destruction of nature and ecosystem. But if, para mas ma-appreciate natin, no, if we combine all these effects, no, economically, estimate ni USAID noong 2008 that we are losing 77.8 billion pesos per year due to poor sanitation. This is due to sickness or inability to access free water, like yung ating mga groundwater here in Metro Manila. They're around two-thirds of them are already contaminated, no? So hindi na siya pwedeng ma-access. Kaya nagmamahal of course ang presyo ng tubig, no? So this is the entire framework, or this is the entire rationale on why we have to treat our own wastewaters, no? And what is the status in terms of its implementation, in legal framework, its implementation in the Philippines, no? Sadly, in a report by DNR in 2019, only 10% of wastewater is treated in the Philippines, no? And 50% of that is attributed to the industries, no? Only 50% of industries are complying. So if we have the figure of the MSMEs, the Philippines is around 500,000 na. And 100,000 here in the NCR. Applying these ratios, we have about 70,000 of MSMEs that are non-compliant to our wastewater regulations, which is very sad, no? Very sad. But we identified the reasons why businesses mostly do not want to put up their own wastewater. Of course, una, they don't know, no? They don't know that they need to have their wastewater treated. But yung ibang mga dahilan, una ay yung access to technology. Kung alam man nila na kailangan nilang treat yung wastewater, they don't know how. No? They don't have the technology for it. Then the second one is they don't see it as a non-profitable, they don't see it as a profitable investment. Of course, wala namang incentives, no? Wala tayong legal incentives for putting up your wastewater. And third, it's not really cheap, no? Putting up your own wastewater treatment plant, it's not very cheap. So all of this translates to a very, very low willingness to pay. And of course, translating to a low implementation percentage. So we are here. I am here. We are Anthroserv, and we are here to give you alternatives, no, on how we could we could bridge this gap. No? First, we have to identify. We have to know the waste management hierarchy. Of course, before we think about wastewater treatment, we have to think first: could we reduce? Could we reduce our our wastewater generation. No? So that's the first. If you could reduce, you could analyze the water, how you use your water in your facility. You can and you can reduce, no? And of course, reducing your wastewater generated. If hindi kaya, you could do on-site recycling. No? Baka naman one product water could be diverted into another raw water. No? So you could do that. So, and these two practices are what we call the resource efficiency and cleaner production practices. But of course, hindi may iwasan talaga na mag-generate ng wastewater. So we have off-site recycling, treatment, and ultimately yung disposal, which is yun sana yung pinaka-iniiwasan natin, no? That we dispose, no? That we dispose untreated wastewater. So these are called end-of-pipe treatment. So of course, bago tayo mag-usap, no, how kung paano natin iti-treat yung wastewater, let us always look at how we could reduce first, no, the wastewater generation, and how we could how we may introduce on-site recycling. Yeah. So Anthroserv, we could do that. No, we do offer consultancy services for facilities to do this first, no, prior to wastewater management. Yeah. In terms of wastewater management, there are two strategies. The first one is what we call the sewerage, the sewerage strategy, and the second one is the sanitation strategy. We could differentiate it by looking at our septic tanks. Yung sa septic tanks, ayan, we have the common one are yung two chambers. We have the first one and the second one. Yung sa first one, doon na pubuo yung solids. Usually, ito yung pinapa-haul, no? Yung pinapakuha sa ating mga trucks. Ayan, and it is treated. No? So that's the sanitation strategy. Ayan. So we have here the different types of septic tanks. Of course, I know all of the facilities have their own septic tanks. And to manage your septic tank, based on the sanitation code, of course, you have to have it collected, no, in about 3 to 5 years. No? 5 to 7 years pala. 5 to 7 years cycle. You have to haul yung inyong septage na tinatawag. No? And this is the basics of septage management. You have the trucks to collect and transport them to a certified treatment facility prior its disposal. So that's septage management. Next, so we have seen the sanitation component, of the septic tank. Now let's have the liquid component. No, how do we treat the sewerage? Now this is what we call na yung wastewater. So this is the sewerage strategy. So the sewerage strategy could be further classified into two. The first one is the separate system, where we have the pipes directly tap into the septic tanks directly to the wastewater treatment plant. So if you have a facility and you know that there's a nearby wastewater treatment plant, particularly, for example, if you are in Manila, no, in Manila or in Metro Manila, and you see that there are wastewater treatment plants nearby, you could ask Manila or Manila Water to have you connected, no? But of course, they'll analyze first, no, kung pwede. No? So that's separate system. Next, yung combined system, ito naman yung faster alternative, no? Where you just connect to the drainage. You just connect to the drainage, where the drainage is intercepted and it is diverted to a wastewater treatment plant. Okay? Yeah. So this is commonly implemented sa mga residential, no. Usually, if you are a commercial industrial with a specialized wastewater, you have to have your facility directly tap into a sewer pipe. Okay. Now, ito na yung environmental impact, no. Let's go into the specifics. So ito yung mga usual na parameters that are being treated. BOD, COD, TSS, up to pH. And all of this are pollutants in their own manner. No? Iba't iba yung sources nila. Of course, yung BOD, COD, TSS, ammonia and nitrates, and fecal coliform and phosphates are all comes out from us, no? From our feces, from our discharges, no? And the others like yung oil, ganyan, no? Yung sa mga household yan, no? And of course, it differs. It differs depending on what type of facility do you have, no? Ayan. And its impact is undeniable, no? If for example, if we discharge high BOD in the receiving body of water, we could expect a fish kill, no? At the long run. No? And if we have high solids on our wastewater, we could expect that there would be what we call yung burak, no? Burak doon sa water body, no? So this is the reason, no, why we see yung mga algal blooms, no? There have been recent reportings of algal blooms, particularly in Boracay, no? Yun nga yung nag-incite ng closure ng Boracay because of them not treating their wastewater. Ayan. So these are the impacts. Now, doon na tayo sa first di ba, we identified three common causes on why businesses do not want their wastewater, no? Una is the lack of access on technologies, no? So let me show to you the different treatment technologies that the market has, no? The market has. So this might be complicated, no? This might be complicated, but what I'd like to emphasize here is that wastewater treatment plant is like a puzzle, no? It's like a puzzle that you need to solve. No? There's really no wastewater treatment technology that can solve everything. Unlike what many technology providers would say, no? Because they are selling, of course, their own product, no? So sasabihin nila, pwede yan dyan sa lahat, no? But we do believe otherwise, no? Because wastewater treatment is a puzzle, no? So depende doon sa type ng wastewater mo, what do you want to treat, and ano yung gaano siya kalinis, no? Na kailangan mo siyang i-treat. May iba't ibang processes or technologies that needs to go hand in hand. So we have physical, biological, and chemical processes, no? As shown in the picture, no? Ayan. But we could classify them as three. You know? We have suspended growth reactors, and we have attached growth reactors, and we have chemical reactors. So ito yung mga common sa market. Ayan. And usually, if you are a business owner, no, ang kailangan mo lang naman i-consider kung ano diyan yung kung ano yung mag-fit sa iyo na treatment technology. Ang kailangan mo i-consider, ayan, lot area, the capital expense, operational expense, maintenance, complexity of operations, and process durability. No? So ito yung mga yung nakalagay diyan, yan yung qualitative assessment namin on each technology. No? But of course, they have their own strengths and weaknesses. No? Hindi sinasabi ng graph na ito or ng table na ito that the SBR is always the best, no? Or the sequencing batch reactor is always the best. No? It depends on the client needs. No? So, pag meron sa inyo nagsabi that their technology solves all, it is not true. No? So, it would really depend on many factors. Next, ang tanong, how much is it? No? How much is it? Usually, its cost is around 120,000 per cubic meters treated. So, for example, you're generating 20 cubic meters per day. So, you have yung capital expense niyan ay 2,400,000. No? And it is bound to increase by 50% because of the new standards. Yeah. So ito yung medyo masakit, no? Hindi siya hindi siya hindi siya investment kung tutuusin, no? But you're going to really invest a lot, no? As much as millions, no? To do that. So that is why we develop Anthroserve developed, no? Developed a low cost solution, no? Um, but we do offer, no? We do offer customized solutions depending on the client needs. So we do planning, feasibility studies, we do design, construction, and operations. But apart from wastewater, we are doing our expansion on engineering services for water, energy industry infrastructure, and industry efficiency. But we're focused right now on SDG 6 because ito yung mas nakikita naming may need, no? May need ngayon sa market. But our thrust is towards the attainment of the Sustainable Development Goals 6, 7, 9, and 12. Yeah. And we are proud of our team. We are proud of our team and our company because so our members are accredited by the Project Management Institute, part of the ASEAN Engineering Registry, and accredited by the PICAT. No? So you will really get a quality service from us given this company accreditations. Now, these are for customized solutions, no? Particularly pag malalaki yung mga companies, no? We do offer that. But for MSMEs, no, who have a very limited, of course, limited budget, ganyan, because they're just starting. Yeah, we have developed our own product. Our own product that is a puzzle, no? That is a wastewater treatment plant na naka-puzzle form, no? And it is a ultra or low, we call it ultra low cost, no? And we call it AquaBlocks. No? It is an ultra low cost wastewater treatment designed for MSMEs. It is a plug and play capability. No, plug and play means when you order it from us, we bring it there, we install it there, and then it automatically treats your wastewater. Yeah. And it allows configuration depending on the need. Of course, we have to assess first what do you need. It could treat up to 10 cubic meters per day because these are for MSMEs only. Ayan. And it can produce, no? It can produce a water that is ready for recycling. Ayan. So, ayan. And ito, ginawa namin to shift the view from it being a non-profitable investment as a profitable investment because you could generate savings up to 380,000 annually if you use this product. So let's go to the specifics. No? So it's cost around 900,000, and it already includes everything that you need. No? Drawings, reports, chemicals, startup manuals, training, product warranty, and a discharge permit. No? Lahat ng legal compliance, it's already there. No? And if you will look, no, dun sa market, that's the third one that we cited kanina na nagpapahindi doon sa pag-buy-in, no, or yung pag-avail ng mga businesses on wastewater treatment is because of the price. No? Laging millions yan eh. No? So because of the AquaBlocks, we comparing it to other products. So these are real prices there. Ours is the lowest. 890,000 lang siya, and it's about effectively 89,000 pesos per cubic meters of treatment. And it's movable. No? So alam natin na majority of MSMEs are leasing their lots. No? So kung lilipat kayo, you could transfer off also the treatment facility. And now we could shift it from a non-profitable investment as a profitable investment if we shift our wastewater treatment as to water recycling facility. No? So sabi nga namin, the wastewater treatment could be the water could be used already for recycling and could save up to 380,000 pesos per annually. No? So Based on that, no, you could have a return of investment of around 2.5 years. Now, after that, if you continue recycling, effectively you are saving it as if it is a profit, no? And it translates into your profit. Yeah. So that's our pitch. That's our pitch. That the AquaBlocks is very cheap. No? It's very cheap, and it could generate savings to your facility, and it would have an ROI of 2.5 years. So these are just the specifications of the product, and it is most applicable in these types of industries: food manufacturing, hotel, warehouse, office, condominiums, resorts, schools, markets, real estates, laboratories, and hospitals. So if you would want, no, if you would want to look at the product, no, so this is one of our installation, yung nasa picture dyan. No? If you would want to look at the product and you'd want to talk with us about this, if you have a need, no, so you could search, or you could just scan that QR code or type that link, no, and we could have a meeting. And of course, if you have any questions about wastewater management, sewerage, sanitations, STP operations, or anything about water and wastewater management, you could message us directly, or you could type that in that tinyurl.com/askanthroserve, and we'll get back to you. And if you would visit our booth, we'd be having a free 2-day intensive wastewater management webinar this March 26, 27. Yeah. So just visit us at our exhibit booth, and you would also get their information about our company, how would you reach us, and many freebies. No? And hopefully we get to meet you, and we get to serve you as we aim to have our sustainable as we aim towards sustainability, no? Through sustainable wastewater management. And with that, I thank you.
Engineer Joshua, can you hear me loud and clear? Yes? Thank you very much for sharing that. Alam mo, engineer, it's a breath of fresh air listening to your discussion earlier, because for the past day, for the past speakers, we were actually talking about more of ano yung mga pagkakakitaan. Ngayong hapon, pinag-usapan naman natin may kinalaman sa kalikasan. It's a wonderful way to have it incorporate here in our expo, because we wanted to make sure that all our SMEs, our fellow business owners here, are also responsible business owners, ensuring sustainable development goals. Kasama yan sa ating mga business plans. Thank you very much. And guess what? Ang bilis ng oras. Sir Engineer Joshua, thank you so much for sharing your expertise with us this afternoon. Lahat po ng ating mga katanungan, thank you all for the questions. Make sure that you'll get to check their booth, and they'll get to answer all those questions. And we'll be having our next set of presenters in a bit.
The new Filipino